This is the 2023 Porsche 911 GT3. Naturally aspirated horsepower with no compromises. Hey everybody, it's Tom from Vehicle Visionary. I hope you're having a great day. We're back at Porsche Shreveport, and I'm going to give you the particulars on this GT3 in today's video. If you want to know more, maybe come in and buy this model. Check out the link down in the description of the video. Now you might wonder, normally I don't do used vehicles. That's a very rare thing, but couldn't pass this one up. We get to do a test drive. That's one of the best parts about it. So we're going to take care of all of that today. The exterior color is shark blue, and there's a lot of shark blue on the exterior and interior, but you know what? I don't think it's too much. Let's take a look at what we have. We're going to have the shark blue surround with the headlight housing here, but I like the black that we have as well that contrasts everything. You're going to have your headlights here, going to make it easy to see everything, and your Porsche logo right there inside. And it goes without saying that every single vent that you see here is functional. No faux vents whatsoever. Always a great thing. 21-inch wheels, a very nice racy look, which is very fitting. But I do like that while you have the surround being in shark blue on the wheels right here, the brake caliper is the perfect color. It stands out. It's the perfect contrast. I think it works very well. You'll have your power adjustable side view mirrors. And again, something that I think is balanced. It's not too big and it's not too small. It doesn't look like what we would call a comic car many years ago where things were just huge. And that's going to be the rear wing. It's balanced perfectly. Just the right size. Now you will see some differences obviously all over this 911 as far as the design of the taillights, even the design of the headlights, but again, not a big deal. I think there's a lot of people out there that would say, hey, this works for me perfectly. We're going to have our rear diffuser and our dual exhaust. The only downside here for me is that the only thing I can do is tell you about the engine, but can't actually show it to you. A naturally aspirated 4-liter flat 6 is what motivates this GT3 to get down the road with a 0 to 60 of 3.2 seconds, top speed of 193 miles per hour. And I can't really show you much, like I said, but this is what I can show you as far as what's back here. You're going to have that 4-liter logo right there. All of that will be mated to a 7-speed PDK. You will find a 16.9-gallon gas tank. Going to have the special gas cap right here. MPGs come in at 15 city and 18 highway. I don't think any owners are going to be able to achieve that. At least I know I couldn't. My right foot is way too heavy. But if you're really good, you might be able to get 253 miles on a single tank of gas in the city and 304 out on the highway. With the front end being as low as it is, there is a big advantage here. That big advantage is going to be the front end lift. And you can see that it goes up nice and high. And there's another advantage that comes with this feature. Here is the button for raising your front end. We're just going to push that button. But what I really wanted to show you is what happens after the process is complete. You can save any area you go to, especially if you go there regularly. Maybe it's coming in and out of your driveway or someplace in your neighborhood where you have to drive over a bump or something like that. You can save your smart lift right there. And to lower it back down, we just repeat the process and just push that button again. You'll see the indicator on the driver's display right there that lets you know that it's lowered all the way down. And here is your remote for those who may want to see how that looks in the shape of a Porsche. We're going to hold this button down to open the front trunk. Very easy to deal with. And let's see if I can do this one-handed. There we go. You'll have a total of 4.6 cubic feet worth of cargo capacity. I don't think anybody's going to say, wow, I really wanted to be able to haul more cargo in my Porsche GT3 than 4.6 cubic feet worth. This is a pure race car. Race cars were not meant to haul anything, whether they're street legal or not, other than the person's rear end who's sitting in the seat. And one of the reasons to haul butt, so to speak, is going to be that you have a lot of carbon fiber, including what we see right here. You can see the exposed carbon fiber on the underside. And just in case any of you enthusiasts out there want to make sure that I am doing things properly, There's the answer to that question. And you can see some of the shark blue contrast stitching here on the dash area. We're going to have that throughout the interior and with the seat belts. But if there's something that you may not have seen on these 911s, I'm going to show you right now on this particular model. Let's just say that you have an insert that looks much better than this, and you're saying, boy, I wish I could put that in there. Well, guess what? You can actually remove this area and put whatever you want in there. As long as you can find the design and obviously the right size, there's something that some people may not have even known about. And it also gives us a good chance to look at the seat belt and the carbon fiber right there as far as what's behind the seat belt buckle. Needless to say, there is carbon fiber everywhere. And for those who want a true race car experience, you don't have to use these seat belts. You can actually buy a, say, 5-point harness system that will come through this area right here. You can mount everything. These seats are built for that, to accept such a thing, so that it truly turns into the racing experience that this GT3 is meant to deliver. One thing you might find interesting about this particular model, as we look down at the odometer, you can see that it has less than 4,000 miles on it, so technically it's used, but it's never been titled. And here's why. Although I wasn't able to be told exactly what it was used for before it made its way here to Porsche Shreveport, it might have been used in the Porsche driving experience or something along those lines, but has never been titled, so that gives you a little bit of information about this car. The sticker price is $219,150. Something that I think will be very pleasing to a lot of potential owners is the fact that you have your analog gauge right here. A little bit more of an old school look and feel compared to what you might find in some of the competitors' vehicles, some of those models out there that don't have such things. You're going to have your classic look throughout the interior. But one thing that I like here is you don't have a leather wrapped steering wheel. If you're tracking your GT3, you're not going to be able to run your air conditioner. That means it's going to get really hot in here. Whether you have the windows rolled down or not, your hands are going to be potentially sweating unless you're wearing gloves. But this Alcantara that surrounds the steering wheel is going to keep your hands from sliding all over the place. That is a benefit. You can see right here your traditional place for the ignition for your GT3 right there. Reach in and start that right there instead of going over here to the right as we're so used to, at least here in the US. And guess what? This GT3 also comes with turn signal indicators. If you keep your turn signal fluid reservoir nice and full, you can always use those. Those will work just fine. And I promise there's no Surgeon General's warning that says using them is hazardous to your health. Over here, you run your windshield wipers right there. We're going to have some more carbon fiber right here in the dash area. And let's take a look at some of the things we can go through here as far as the dash area goes, the driver's display. Depending on what we may want to know about, all I'm doing is scrolling through with the scroll wheel right here just to show you a little bit of what's going on there. Very cool. You want to go back? We hit the back button right there. And your drive mode selector is right here. I'm in sport mode because I do not want the auto stop start to activate. You can see right there, either sport or track will pull that off for you. But if we go into normal, then it's going to go off depending on what's going on with the vehicle. But I prefer to not have that doing anything. You'll also find your shifter paddles right here for that race feel. And then your shifter right here for your PDK, your 7-speed PDK. But you can also manually shift with the shifter right here. As you can see, that's going to be what that M is for. You gear up, pulling it to the back, gear down, pushing it to the front. Again, that race feel is what you're going to get when you do that. And then you're going to have your backup camera. That should go without saying. Every vehicle in the United States was required to have a backup camera by the year 2020, so you don't ever have to worry about that. I think every automaker was way ahead of that. Now, you can pair your smartphone here if you want to, and you can see that you have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. You have the Bose Premium Audio. That will help you out a lot. We can go in and look at a couple of things here as far as what's available with the vehicle, different things you can go in and change and turn on and off. And now we can turn that on if we wanted to, but I like to keep that off. And the graphics are really cool on the screen here. Just an added advantage, added bonus, we'll say. And then as far as your chassis goes, you can see that you have sport or track as far as your chassis setting goes. And then you can go up here to assistance if you want to see what's going on there. And then we can go with our trip setup right here as far as everything goes. And how about comfort? We're really not looking for comfort necessarily within the interior, but you do have the ambient lighting under that feature. With the handling of this GT3, well, obviously comfort is not going to be there, but that's what makes it so fun to drive. But you can see what's going on here as far as that goes. Unfortunately, I don't have a place to go that is dark enough to really show you much. And we also have our built-in navigation. That seems to be a very popular question that a lot of people want to have answered. Here are all your settings for your air conditioning, something that we definitely need here in Northwest Louisiana today. There's more of that shark blue contrast stitching and your GT3 logo, but I like that that's not in shark blue. Gonna have your cup holder right here. This is not the only cup holder within the interior. There is another for the passenger. There's your power parking brake. And if you need to take advantage of any USB connectivity, there or where they're located. Under the screen, you've already had a little bit of a look here. There's your front end lift, and I think you know what else is here as far as all that goes. And here is something that is very important, the air conditioning controls. Today, we need that on low because it is going to be very warm here in Northwest Louisiana, but I'm not complaining because I can film. And as much as I like the shark blue contrast stitching here, I'm glad that the GT3 logo is not in shark blue. That seems to fit. That matches what we saw with the brake calipers earlier. Again, more carbon fiber. There's your power parking brake, one of the cup holders. And if you're saying, Tom, I need some USB connectivity, it's going to be right here within the center console. And if you're wondering where that second cup holder is, it's neatly concealed away right there for the passenger. And while listening to the engine is enough for me, some of you might say, Tom, how does that Bose surround sound system sound in that GT3? Here's a quick sampling for you. I don't know how well my mic picks that up compared to what I'm actually hearing in person right here in the seat of the car, but I can tell you that it sounds great. All right, here we go on the test drive. And for those of you that are looking for a smooth riding car, this is not what you want. But as I mentioned earlier in the video, that's not the point here. The handling is so superb that you're going to have to deal with a less than comfortable ride. The seats aren't super comfortable, but you know what? That's not a big deal. The enjoyment that you get from stepping on the pedal, going through the corners, is definitely something that is going to be worth beyond anything you have to sacrifice. We're gonna cruise up here just a little bit. I know we've got this band in front of us, so I'm not gonna be able to do too much at the moment, but I can let you listen. And that's probably the best thing that we can do on a test drive like this is just listen. But we're about to have an opportunity to step on it just a little bit. Take our turn right here. And that is one advantage to this car being broken in already. That is pure fun right there. Gonna slow down a little bit. Obviously the brakes work great here. Wow, what a fun ride. That is beyond worth it. Worth every penny, I would say. Sometimes I title my videos, "Is it worth every penny?" And I'll tell you what, that is definitely the case here as far as this model goes. You definitely won't have any trouble having a good time here with this GT3. We'll get on it a little bit more again. There is just nothing like it. That is for sure. And for those who want to track this car, obviously it just comes out of the box ready for that. No doubt about it. Now, going back into the area where we're going, I have to be a little bit more careful. How about positioning yourself as the driver? Well, you don't have a lot of adjustability built into these seats, although they are going to be adjustable to a degree. There is some very tight bolstering here. So depending on what your situation is, well, you have to choose accordingly to what you end up buying. But I'll tell you what, I like how tight it is here. The steering wheel also adjustable, but I love how I fit in the interior of this car. Depending on your height, well, I'd be curious to know, who's driving these GT3s and how tall are you? Especially if you're maybe over 6 feet tall, 6'1", 6'2", maybe taller than that. Tell me how you fit. The driver and the passenger seats are both manually adjustable. Obviously not a lot of space going on there back there in the back seat area. We haven't even talked or looked at that, but that's one of those things that I don't think anybody is too worried about. But one thing I do like here, as far as your forward visibility goes, that is good. That wing back there does tend to take away a little bit of your visibility. It's not terrible. Depending on how tall you are, you might be able to see under it or maybe a little bit over it. I don't know. I'm 5'10", so I know it's in the way just a little bit for me as far as my overall view goes, but not too terribly bad. But when it comes to checking off the boxes for fun, for acceleration, for handling, all of that is going to be checked off with a very large check mark saying it meets every need you could possibly have in that area. So tell me what you think about the 2023 Porsche 911 GT3. Flat 6 horsepower with no compromises. What do you think about this particular model? Tell me what your thoughts are down in the comments section. I do like that it's a very well-balanced vehicle, not overloaded with too much technology, at least not in my opinion, but I'm curious to know what your opinion is. I'm looking forward to reading your comments. I'd like to say a special thanks to my friends at Porsche Shreveport here in Shreveport, Louisiana for loaning me this GT3 for the day so I could tell you all about it. And a special thanks to all of you for being kind enough to give me the opportunity to give you a vision for your next vehicle. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to hit the like button. That's very helpful to me. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any future videos. And if you would, please share this video on your timelines on social media so other people can see it. If you'd like to learn about additional vehicles you may wish to consider purchasing, check out the video that's on the screen right now, and I will see you there.